What is going on, everyone? My name is Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology retold action, spawning in the bottom of the map in the blue color, playing as Oranos. His name is Kimo. His opponent today in the red color, his name is Magic, and he's playing as Odin. We have an Odin versus Oranos affair on our hands on the map Alysium. This one has been sent to me with a little bit of spice attached to it. The foreshadowing is watch for the Turma. At the end, don't comment now. Don't comment midway through the game. Wait till the end of the game. I don't know I don't know whether the Turma are really weak. I don't know if they're really strong. I don't know if they're pointless. I don't know if they're just the greatest thing on God's green earth, on God's green Alysium. I don't know. But after this game, tell me what you think. The map here is Alysium. We've said that already, but let's just check out some relics. We've got the Staff of Dionysus over here in the center of the map. We've also got Pygmalion's statue. Hit points plus 40% of base. Up on the top corner here, we've got ourselves that Bridle of Pegasus. And down the bottom, there is a canopic jar of Imseti. So, some decent relics here as we motor ahead through this game. Kimo looks like he's just doing a very, very stock standard build. Going to be looking for probably a 3-minute 55 advance time at this stage. The only real way to get yourself a 330, if you want the 330, is to take the villagers off of gold and off of wood and early and put them over onto the food, at least in my guesstimation. The temple, however, will be finished in time, but he's already got that citizen queued up, so definitely wants to make that happen. If we take a quick look at the scouting here for Kimo, he's bringing his oracles back home, making sure he doesn't lose those. Getting that line of sight behind him. Going to be scouting out on this corner here. He's seeing in the center of this base here of Magic. He sees the gold mine. And we'll see how it all goes. For both of these players, as Oceanus the god of choice, we should probably do a little flipsy here as Kimo is kind of on the right-hand corner of the map rather than the left-hand corner of the map down the bottom here, but nonetheless. And we also see a flavor of the month coming through here in Heimdall. A lot of people have been hyping up Heimdall, myself included. I think it's a really, really strong minor god. It definitely rivals Freya. It definitely does. You get, not only do you get actually a really decent myth unit in the Einherjar, it is a little bit tricky to use, though. We'll talk about that when we see it, and we'll see how Magic tries to use it. Maybe he's going to show us a little bit of spice with the Einherjar. But the Einherjar, in my estimation, is a really good myth unit. But you also get this insane technology called Rigstula, which effectively makes Heimdall insane. There's also Undermine, which can be used on buildings to deny them. We can take out towers, and also prevent a town center from getting grabbed. But Kimo, at this moment, he's dropping a military barracks down. 2 military barracks down here to kick this game off. There is also Safeguard. Now, Safeguard is decent. Don't get me wrong. It's not a terrible technology by any stretch of the imagination, but I wouldn't put this one up to the Rigstula tier of importance. It's like, it's there, it's nice, but, you know, Rigstula is what is the thing to really tell mum about. Say, Mum, have you heard of this technology? It gives you 20% reduction on everything. Train time, build time, or 20% faster, I should say, on everything. Everything happens 20% faster, okay? Except for your actual economy gather speed. Imagine that if you did that as well. That'd be nice. But Longhouse is now coming down for Magic. As Kimo out into this position now, dropping down the Sky Passage. Ravens just floating around looking for whatever they can find. There's Berserks, throwing Axeman, and like all coming out. And both players just going to be taking their time in this early stages of the game. I wouldn't be surprised to see Magic very quickly coming up onto these Gazelle here. It's very, very stock standard for a map like Alysium to have back food there as the Pegasus just flying through. And we do see a counter barracks now coming in for Kimo already, as he's only really built a handful of Murmillo at the moment. 5 Murmillo coming out. And it looks like he's still building more, but he's going to be getting some Turma as he has spotted the Throw and Axeman coming through. Now, one quote-unquote weakness of Heimdall is that you don't get access to Thundering Hooves, which does mean raiding cavalry and cavalry in general for Norse, for the Heimdall user, ends up being a little bit lackluster. So how you deal with the Turma ends up being very, very strange, difficult to some degree. Now, a good answer against Turma is just building Berserks, and then utilizing the Ironry to get in and get some damage done. So Mamilo going to turn around, take this fight ever so slightly here. A couple of Mamilo getting sniped down, or not getting sniped down, but getting sniped and then retreats back. Nice little skirmish here thus far. Question in the chat. What happens if two Einherji blow a horn at the same time? I do not believe this is stackable. It's not stackable. So it's just the same thing as the army charges forward. It's a huge speed boost, but Kimo going to be retreating back. Now, the way that I see the horn is it's not an engaging tool. It's a defensive tool. This is where I'm kind of at with this thing. You don't want to use it unless your opponent engages into you. And then after they engage into you, you click it and they're going to want to retreat, but then the speed is there for you to charge and chase them down. As opposed to using it at the early stages of the fight, charging in to get in and start doing DPS, but already the DPS has gone down. So yeah, hold off on using it until the fight actually starts and then chuck that horn on full blast and make it happen. As the Berserks now looking for a little bit of a raid here into the main base of Kimo. Kimo does have these citizens in a bit of a precarious spot. A little bit far from the sentry tower, but he will be able to retreat away from here, no problems. As Magic does decide to push forward while hitting this raid. Really, really nice. Kimo not paying attention. Going to be losing 2 citizens with this raid. Beautiful little attack there. As the Berserk's looking to come in onto this spot, take even more of these citizens out. Citizens now moving up to the top spot here. There's the Ironry coming in, missing a little bit of that fight, but it looks like Kimo will need to just retreat back for the time being. There's a little bit under population for the moment here. That's one Oracle getting sniped down. Kimo not paying attention, loses that one. Good raid for Magic, but he's now taking this fight as those Mamilo are getting some seriously good damage done. Meanwhile, over here, both of these Ironry are going to be blowing their horns as the army starts to charge forward. I'm not sure if he did this on purpose or what, but I think he hasn't got this off of autocast. So I think at the top level, most special abilities should be off autocast. That doesn't mean you manually queue them. That means you can manually queue them if it's that type of myth unit. Or when you want to use it, you turn it off or back onto autocast. As the Turma are now in, and these bad boys, they are going to be very, very difficult to deal with here as Kimo is going to start his kiting ways as the Berserks continue to charge forward here. There's a couple more Berserks getting cleaned up. And Magic, he can't keep chasing these ones. These Turma can literally kite you for days at this point. And the only real solution to this is faster Berserks, which Odin doesn't have. Only 4 City has those faster Berserks. Or taking into some raiding cavalry. And as we already discussed, the raiding cavalry are a little bit lackluster when you don't have Freya. So a really good find here from Kimo, transitioning away from the Murmillos, which are normally really, really good, into a very, very nice amount of units. Good raid up onto this side with the Murmillo there as well, as the Berserks charging forward. But these Turma, there's just so many of them here, getting some really, really good damage done onto the Berserks. A couple of Turma will end up getting sniped down, but in the end, this trade is really, really good for Kimo as the Berserks retreating away. And all of a sudden, the dwarves coming over onto this gold mine, and Magic is hurting. Does he have Rick Stuhler yet? He doesn't have Rick Stuhler yet. And I think this is a big reason why he is in a bit of a pain at the moment, because he should be able to kind of keep up with the economy of the Oranos, but without Rick Stuhler, his villages are producing a little bit slower. His army is producing a little bit slower. We are seeing some walls coming up. In general, trying to deal with horse archers, the best way to deal with them is, like it or not, for better or for worse, lots and lots of walls. But the Ironry going to get sniped down over here as well, as Kimo is at 147 of 175 population here. We will see the wooden wall for Magic getting cleaned up. As Magic is now in a situation where he's got no gold. He's got no gold, he's got no income for that, but he does have a market, so he can keep himself going for a little bit here. As a couple of raiding cavalry are coming in, Kimo does notice that, and he's going to start building himself some Mamilo here. Kimo's still trying to break through onto this spot. These raiding cavalry are through, but there's just not enough raiding cavalry here. You take a look at the numbers. 49 medium Turma, 12 medium raiding cavalry. That's all it is. There's the wall over here. Slowly but surely getting beaten down by these Turma. He wants this position to kind of retreat into, it looks like. Magic up to 128 population here. He does still have all these kind of thrown axemen at the moment, which unfortunately are a little bit useless. He had these to deal with Mermillo earlier, and he's actually still building them, which I think is a bit of a... It's not really pushing him to the point where he's going to be able to deal with this, but we'll see. The Turma do only have 15% hack armor, so throwing axemen aren't terrible where that's concerned. As an undermine coming in onto this position here, will it be able to deny the sky passage? Answer is no, but it does deny the town center. As Kimo is now pushing into the main base, we do have a couple of units over here raiding the villages, and it looks like Magic trying to push out of here, trying to take out this position here. Some catapults are actually going to be a really, really good help. And this is the other thing about mass Turma, which I think is really, really difficult to deal with the Norse, is, I mean, if you don't have the speed on the cavalry, or you don't have the speed on the berserks, mostly with Forseti, then all of a sudden you're trying to build these raiding cavalry, and a couple of catapults come in, and they just absolutely erase those raiding cavalry from existence. So there's a lot of really, really nice options here for Oranos to go into. As the villagers are going to come over onto this position here, get the gazelles, do all the good stuff. And there will be another town center. I'm surprised to see the town center not going for the next age here. For Kimo, getting out Chaos would be pretty game ending. A couple of villagers are sneaking just a little bit of gold here. Magic trying to pull this game back from the brink. He's done it so many times. As the villagers pulling back over here and jump onto the gold mine. They can turn around and take a little bit of a fight here. There's just so many citizens on this position, so not a big problem. But the Turma are actually going to come back and say, hello there, raiding cavalry. I would like to have a word with you. My army of arrows, my 44 javelins, will be flying through the skies to send you packing. As the Mamilo on this spot, they do end up getting sniped down, but the town center is now up for Kimo. And he's also got the resources now to go up to the heroic age. So Hyperion on the way, and Kimo are going to be charging in here to try and deal with all of this. There's Magic. I mean, his army is looking okay here, but these Turma are just going to start the kiting. They're just going to get a shot and then retreat and then get a shot and then retreat. You see a bit of a great hunt coming down there for Magic. No Einherry to really help out on this charge, as Kimo going to keep on pulling back. There's a shockwave coming in to help out even more. Kimo decided to stop on that kiting. He's not using box formation on these Turma, which would make them even more effective here. And all of the raiding cavalry on the front have seemingly disintegrated, as we see a Carnivora coming over here. Magic trying to retreat away with these bad boys, but he's only going to get so far, as we see some raids coming back over onto the gold mine yet again. The Turma will be chasing down the Throwing Axemen to their deathbed. Magic does this so well, where he runs into a corner, distracts you away from his army. He knows the army's dead, but he's just trying to pull you away from the places that are important. As now Kimo too smart for that. He's not going to chase with everything. Cleans up the rest of those, and then he's bringing the rest of the units up here. There's chaos as well to be used at any point. So Villager's going to pull back into the town center, and Kimo's just got so many units queued up. He hasn't yet queued up his heavy upgrades, which would be very, very helpful for him. As, I mean, what else can Magic do? He still doesn't have Rigstaller, and he's going to tap out. And that's the game, ladies and gentlemen. So it turns out we were told about the Turma. The Turma came, they saw, and they conquered. And in the end of the day, a really, really well-played game by Kimo. He saw what his opponent was doing. He saw the thrown action. He saw the berserks, and he said, hey, those berserks aren't fast enough. Those thrown axemen aren't fast enough. I'm going to build my cavalry unit, and I'm going to kite you to death. And that's what happened. And nonetheless, well played there by Kimo, and we'll see you in the next game. Let me know what you guys think.